guys, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while, it's been a long time, but I was having a bit of technical issues and stuff like that. So we're back again with another story time. I hope this one will be a little bit more interesting. Yeah, marriage life is tough, né? You come across a lot of things, and sometimes you come across witches. Yeah, witchcraft is real, guys. So I hope you guys like this video, the story time, and don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and yeah, let's get into this video. Okay, so my story starts here. I think if I give you guys a backstory, that's how you guys can actually understand the story. So since I got married, I've been living with my husband in his parents' house. So his parents live in Chivu, and they have a house here in Harare. So the house has tenants in them and stuff like that. So we were given a choice whether we wanted the whole house or just a couple of rooms. So since it's just me and my husband and my baby, we're just like, you know what, let's just take 2 rooms. And yeah, so this is where it starts from. One of the rooms were occupied by a girl who was living by herself, working by herself and stuff like that. And she decided to take in a friend of hers who has one of those jobs, I know KHS, if you understand. And she was going through a hard time, and she had a 3-year-old with her, 3-year-old baby. So this girl she took in, we're going to call the girl Gifted, and the other one we're going to call her Charity. And Charity had a baby girl, 3 years old. So Charity her full-time job is just dressing up, putting on makeup, going to the bar, doing her job, collecting her money, you know. But things weren't working out for her, and Gifted felt bad for Charity. So all this is happening, right? I had just given birth, so I wasn't like looking at people. I was in my bed recovering. And Gifted and Charity used to have little fights. So we have this gogo of ours who lives in the house. She deals with all the disputes, all the problems, blah 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 blah. So she was the one who was regulating the fights, blah 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 blah. So all of a sudden Gifted just disappears, and we don't know where she went. And Charity is now paying rent, and now Charity, okay, the disclaimer: if you're triggered by child abuse and neglect, I think you should skip a few bits of this video. And because Charity, what she would do, what she later admitted she does, is she would give her child bronco, and she would get drunk. And bear in mind, this child is not eaten, and the child would sleep and then wake up at around 3 and start crying. And Charity has locked her door. So this child will cry and cry and cry and cry, and all of us will be awake trying to get in. So we decided, you know what, Charity needs to go. She needs to go. I gave her an ultimatum: go give your parents this baby, or else I'm calling the police on you. So she said she's going to do that, blah 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 blah. So my husband was driving home one day, and he ran into Gifted, and Gifted wasn't doing so well. And he asked Gifted, you know, what's going on? And she's like, I'm not feeling well. My job situation is not good. My boss let me go, so I don't have money for rent. That's why I left. And I'm not feeling well. I don't have a place to stay. My friend we had gone to stay at, she kicked me out. So my husband brought her back, since she was living here for a while. We all know her, and he's like, you know what? Let me talk to my wife and see what's going on. And so we discuss. Since I only have 2 rooms, we decided, you know, she'll sleep in our kitchen, and she'll help us out. So she then tells us that, you know what, I was living with Charity, but things were so bad. She would take my clothes and wear them, and Charity and Gifted are not the same size. They're two worlds apart. So most of Gifted's clothes will come back like 3 times the size, and it would get to the extent where Charity would take Gifted's underwear and wear it in her time of the month and just leave everything like that. And I felt bad for her, and I was like, you know what, stay with me. You've got really bad friends, very bad choice of friends. Because the friend that she went to, which, this sounds like I'm rambling, but the story's gonna make sense. The friend who had kicked her out, we'll call her Previous. We'll call her Previous. And Previous kicked her out. She was doing the same job as Charity. What Gifted didn't know was Previous kicked her out because one of Previous's clients who she liked showed an interest to Gifted. So now I'm sitting here counseling this young lady that, you know what, you chose the wrong friends. Come stay with me, you help me, I help you, life moves on, you eat what I eat, we do whatever's going on. If we're eating air pies, we're eating air pies. If we're eating good living, we're doing that, okay? That's how we're gonna live. Okay, so a few weeks into it, things are going well. We're getting used to each other, getting to know each other, stuff like that. And Previous comes around, goes to Gogo. I mentioned Gogo. Yeah, goes to Gogo and says, you know what? Gifted is going around telling people that I kicked her out of my house while she was sick. And Gogo's like, wait, was she lying? Did you not kick her out? And it's like, yeah, I kicked her out, but she shouldn't be going around saying that. Anyway, she broke my bucket, so I want to get her arrested because she broke my bucket. So I'm like, okay. She comes the first time, we laugh at her. She comes second time, I see it's actually becoming an issue because every time I ask Gifted to go buy me something at the shops, she comes back complaining that she's being harassed. So one day, I go with Gifted to the shops. Mind you, I'm still recovering from my C-section, and we run into Previous, and Previous at this time she had a side job. She was selling bread, yeah. And Previous was like, hey, don't forget about my bucket, cause like I'll get you arrested and stuff like that. I'm standing there like, all of this over a bucket. How much is a bucket? Please, let's just go buy this girl a bucket. So we get there, the bucket's going for $30. At that time it was $1. 30 RTGS. That time it was $1. So I take out $1, give the lady, get the bucket, go to Previous. I'm like, you know what, Previous? Here's your bucket. I'm now living with talent. Regard her as mwana kwamgari now. She's our child. So if you have any problems with her, you come to me. We solve your problem, you go your merry way. No more noise, okay? So I thought this was the end of it. I honestly did. How naive. Give her a bucket. People are just like, obvious because it's a crowded place. Like where she was selling her bread was just opposite a bar. And obviously she had told the little boys up there that, you know, I'm gonna make her life hell. So she didn't expect me coming into the whole equation. So let's get back home, right? Around this time, Charity had left. She left the house. She just left with the kid and what they're wearing and left everything of theirs in the house. So we pack up her stuff, we put the stuff in my kitchen, and we move in a young couple. No, we can't say a young couple, like a newly married couple. They weren't young, but they were newly married. Little did I know that this newly married couple is going to cause my life hell. So all is well with this newly couple right now, newly married couple, and I don't know what name can we give, because the husband not I didn't have much problem with the husband. The wife I had problems with. And okay, so the wife, let's look for a name for her. Let's call her Rose. Okay, so Rose, I didn't have any problems with her. She just seemed like a chilled person. Actually, she actually they knew each other, her and Gifted. So Gifted, she just said, you know, they're a chilled couple, they don't have noise and stuff like that, they're okay. I mean, she used to let me sell her stuff, like sell my stuff in her tuck shop when I was still working at the bar. So I was like, okay, that's fine. They can move in, take their details in. My mother-in-law was there, everything seemed legit. So they're in there, everything's cool. And then all of a sudden, Previous starts coming around the house. Previous is coming around the house. Why? When I told her, don't come around and like, don't come around unnecessarily. You don't even live here, so why are you coming around making noise? And then she starts, oh, Rose is my go-go. Her husband and my mother are sisters. Sisters and brother and sister, so yeah, that's the situation. Did go around. So funny stuff started happening. This Rose person, I'm not saying this trying to be insensitive to people who have gone through miscarriages, but Rose was telling us of 8 miscarriages, and I'm sitting here like 8 miscarriages for a newly married couple, and you're saying the babies were his. And I'm trying to calculate, because I mean, when they first came, they said they've been together for 2 years and they've just got married. So where does 8 miscarriages? I was like, you know, doesn't make sense, but I'm not going to get into your business. So the room they had occupied, they had in this one room, it's actually, I think, the smallest in our house. They had a wardrobe in there, a full queen bed, a 4-plate stove, kitchen table and chairs. What did they have in there? And like, what do you call this thing where you put your TV and your radio and stuff like that? They had all that packed in one room. So it made sense because they're only 2. And then comes in stage left. What are we gonna call her? Hey, too many names, ne? We're gonna call her Pretty. Let's just call her Pretty. Comes in Pretty. This I think 11-year-old girl. So I became suspicious, like, where's this child actually sleeping? Because I know how the house is, like, I know how they have their stuff around. I mean, where is she sleeping? Literally, when these people, when Rose needs to get out of her house, she has to lift up 2 chairs and put them on the table to open her door. So where's this baby sleeping? So because Maka was a night shift baby for a while, I was up most of the nights. So I would hear her come in. Because mind you, she didn't go to school. Those days, schools were still open. She wasn't going to school. She was the one who was left at the tuck shop selling. And early in the morning, I would hear her come in early in the morning at 5 a.m. in the gate. Our gate had so much noise. Hear her coming in, and then she'll do all her duties. If you know, like, if you live in a place where you live, Makawanda, you have duties. She would do all this lady's duties, like cleaning the toilet, sweeping the yard, cleaning the passage and stuff like that. And then she would, she'll do all that, right? And then she would cook, she would do the dishes and stuff like that, eat, and then get out. And then the whole day she's not around. And this lady, mind you, Rose, is around the house, talking, jabulaling with the people, sleeping, husband's off at work, stuff like that. And then at night around 9, I would hear the kid coming in again. And I would hear her getting into the house, stuff like that. Few minutes later, I hear her getting out again. So one day I asked Gifted to follow this kid. I know I was being a bit nosy, but I don't know. I would not want things like this going on to kids at a place where I stay and I have a little bit of control. So I asked her to follow her, and this kid, I think, really traumatized, because no matter how much you ask her, like, you know, where you sleeping, she's like, I sleep at the house. And like, in my mind, I'm like, where? On top of the table? On top of the wardrobe? On top of the stove? Where are you sleeping? So I kept quiet for a while. And one day, all this whole tuck shop, all the illegal structures were demolished this side. So the tuck shop's gone. So the kid's now staying here full time. And she would just sit outside the door the whole day, sitting outside the door, making all of us uncomfortable. Because we're like, this kid, like, there's so many kids who live here. Why isn't she playing with the kids? Because she's not allowed. Okay, cool. So one day, I noticed the husband and the wife, Rose and husband, were around, and they had locked themselves in the house the whole day. And the kid was sitting outside the whole day. So everyone was just watching, like, the kids outside the whole day. No one has seen her putting even like a cup of water to her mouth. And I saw it and I was like, you know what, none of my business. Then Gogo saw it and she's like, have you seen this? And I'm like, Gogo, you know what? Can't right now. And then Gifted was like, you know what, I've seen it. And I'm like, guys, come on. Then someone else came to me and was like, come on, guys. Okay, let me just ask her. I called her and I asked her, you know what? Is your Gogo around? And she's like, yeah, my Gogo's around. She's like, okay, that's cool, that's cool. So I just have a bit of food left over. Do you want some? So I just asked her in a way that wasn't like I'm accusing her Gogo of abusing her. And I tried to do that as slick as I can, but I guess I failed. Ne? So she goes out. I think, you know what? She says no. I'm like, chilled. That's fine. I can't force you to do anything you don't want. I get into bed, I sleep because I have a migraine. Next thing I'm hearing noise around 6 p.m. and I'm like, what people are doing? What's going on? They apparently went to meet with Gogo and tell her, hey, Murora wenyu, she's accusing me of abuse and stuff like that. So I get in there, she says what she wanna say, and guess who's there? Previous is there. They say what they wanna say, blah 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 blah. So I'm sitting there like, these people think I'm an idiot, ne? So I was like, you know what? I'm a Christian. You know what? I'm sorry if you think I accused you of abusing. I just asked her simply, do you want some food? I have some food. Just the same way that I ask another kid who lives, who actually always used to be in my kitchen, playing with the baby. I always ask her, look, I've cooked. Do you want some food? It's rude for me to eat in front of you. And she would either say yes or no. So that's the same way I asked her. Hey, that's not your right. If you want the kid, and just give you the kid. Hey, blah blah blah. Sorry, you know, and she's like, I can't take your sorry, blah 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 blah. So I get pissed. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, don't take my sorry. In fact, I want to know why this kid's not going to school. I want to know where this kid sleeps, because I think she sleeps in the tuck shop. Now I don't even know where she sleeps. Hey, you can't tell me that. That's not your kid. Blah 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 blah. I'm like, so fine. Do whatever you want to do. If you can't live with my rules, the only option is for you to get out, because I'm not going anywhere. And she was like, you know what? She's like, you know what? That's fine. You think you're the same. In fact, we are the same. If your husband wants to leave, he wants to tell you to go right now, you pack your stuff and you go home. Guys, no. Like, I'm telling you, this actually happened to me. I don't talk, and I had to talk. So okay, I'm like, you're crazy. That's fine. Just leave it. I'm done with this. I'm not talking about this anymore. And then that's when she starts, man. Hey, I'm gonna make sure you suffer. You're going to feel so much pain. I'm gonna make someone suffer in this house. And she's hitting the walls, right? She's walking around hitting the walls. Hey, and you end up churching, go to hey, I'm like, this is crazy. I'm like, okay, cool, that's fine. You deal with your demons, I deal with my Jesus Christ. We're gonna meet in the spirit world. That's what I told her. So I go to bed, I pray, my usual prayer. I pray. This time I make it a bit, because someone threatened me and my child. So I'm praying. The next morning, she goes out of the house, making a show out of it, holding a knife. I'm going to my church. I'm gonna make sure someone suffers. I'm gonna use this knife and I'm gonna make sure she suffers. She is me. So all this because I asked your child if she wanted food. Strong, yes, I got better. And I'm like, it's fine. Go wherever you wanna go. You will meet with my Lord there. She goes there making noise. She comes back. I didn't even know when she came back. She came back so silently. So a couple of days go by and there's so much tension around the house because I had there's a couple of things she had borrowed from me. The next morning I woke up and took everything out. I just took everything. I'm like, in my house, even if I'm not using you, it's fine. We're not communicating. In fact, I want you out of the house. That's what I told her. And she's like, hey, you don't have authority to do that. And I go to Gogo, I'm like, Gogo, you know what? Just tell her to get out. And Gogo tells her, you need to get out. Hey, you guys don't have authority. Hey, your mother-in-law was there, so I want to hear from your mother-in-law. So I call my mother-in-law and she's like, tell her to get out. So now she's frantic because she's only been here for a month and things have already doubled. It's because of 2 words she said. And then Gogo was like, you know what, just let her go, maybe she just made a mistake. So we let her go for a few weeks. And then all of a sudden I'm called to the gate. I get to the gate and the person who called me to the gate was like, no, wait, when you're coming, hide your footprints in the sand because there's a bit of sand between the house and the gate. So I'm like, why? He's like, just do what I say. So I did that. Get there and she's like, you know what? This woman who lives here, I asked, she lives here? I'm like, yeah, she lives here. The one who's always wearing a red head scarf in her head. I'm like, yeah, she lives here. It's like, that woman came up to me and she wanted me to this woman was talking to me and she's like, I'm like, it's like she wanted you to do that so that you leave your husband and you leave your marriage. She wants you out of the house. And I'm like, the hell? What did I ever do to her? And I'm like, her, sure. I'm like, she's like, yeah. So I get pissed now. And I'm like, it's fine. She's getting out of the house. It was a Sunday. And this whole COVID thing had just started happening. And Monday was the beginning of lockdown. So I tell her, pack your stuff and go. She's like, we're in lockdown and the president said blah, 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 blah. So now I'm here. In between this whole thing that, you know what, I can't just kick them out. Because this is mid-month, we took their rent, I can't just kick them out. And this is when all the shenanigans in the world started happening. Previous would come around here, the minute she gets to my window, she starts, Mkazi wako imboko, imboko, and I'm like, all of this, and do you know what? All of this because at the end of the day, do you know what I realized? All of this because I took in Gifted. I took in Gifted and these two were against Gifted, and this was all because I took in Gifted. All of a sudden they start accusing Gifted of being in a relationship with my Bamkuru, my husband's big brother, the oldest in the house, and then tells my guru, his wife, that. And luckily she knows how this goes, and she's like, there's no way my Nines will ever allow that to happen, so screw you guys. It was almost 2 months of hell here, and I just kept my prayer up, I kept my prayer going, and she ended up realizing that she's screwing this up for herself. Then she turns around and says, no, I'm sorry, my Maka, it wasn't me, I was being influenced by previous and a hatred with Gifted. I'm so sorry I got involved, I'm not doing this anymore, I see that I was wrong, I shouldn't be doing this. And then previous said this, that. Now she's putting all the stuff on previous is the one who wanted to know Kora you talker, stuff like that. I'm like, it's too late to apologize, you get out. I call my Amwene, and she's like, you know what, COVID is not ending anytime soon, tell them to get out. It was a showdown. We stood out there, me and Gogo and Rose, just exchanging words, and her true colors just came out. Her true colors just came out, and it was just crazy. I skipped an important part. Around the time when she was being ignoring me and doing what they were doing, previous claimed that Rose is pregnant. And then all of a sudden, Rose goes up to my husband and says, I need to can I hire your car because I've just had a miscarriage. Where? If you know anyone who's had a miscarriage, one, you won't be walking. That's one. You won't be walking. Two, I can see even a sheet up that was washed from her house. Okay, Tuesday, she goes to my husband saying, I had a miscarriage. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, she comes out, we're all sitting outside. She thinks that we don't know the story. Guys, does anyone have any dry chibage so that I can kangama puti so that my child can just relax, All of a sudden she's pregnant again. Miscarriage on Tuesday, pregnancy on Thursday, miscarriage on Wednesday. Anyway, skip to forward. She starts, her lies keep clashing, and now we're telling her, on this day you say this, on this day you say this. Out. I was so happy when they packed up and left. I did a happy dance and looked for a tenant. I was so happy. I'd only been 3 months into my marriage. Not even 3 months into my marriage. 2 months into my marriage, and already someone is trying to kick me out of my marriage. And I'm thinking, what do I have that she wants? We're in the same position. We got married to the love of our lives, and we're starting afresh from humble beginnings. What the hell do you want from me? Guys, yeah. So yeah, that was the story, and I think I don't know what her problem was, but I think I know why God put that situation in my path. I think it was a way to kind of get me closer to him, because I kind of drifted. I was a bit disappointed that I had a C-section, even though I prayed against a C-section. And I thought to myself, my God, you disappointed me when I needed you most. But I don't know. I don't think I have a right to say he disappointed me. My C-section went smoothly. I have a healthy baby. I'm healthy. It was done for a reason, and I think God was trying to push me back to his feet, push me back into his radius, into his love, so that I know that he's still there and he's still pushing me and he's still loving me. So I hope you guys enjoyed this crazy story, and maybe if anyone's going through like anything similar or stuff like that, just comment your stories down, like in the comment section. I would love to know what you guys go through or went through or stuff like that. So I'm back. Okay, I'm back. We got it. The problem was the SD card. We got a new SD card. I'm gonna link my photographer, my videographer, in the comment section. Go follow him at Simply Photography 20 on Instagram. So yeah guys, see you guys in the next video. Love you, thank you for your support, and see you guys later. Bye.